I'm hearing from a lot of people who are worried that a self-described democratic socialist would be running the economic capital of the world, New York City. So I have to ask you, why are you losing to a democratic socialist?
He's a democratic socialist. I'm a Democrat. Well, what is the difference there? And it is night and day. What's really happening is there's a civil war within the Democratic Party going on. And the Democratic Party is looking for its identity. And there are two factions. You have the Democratic Socialists, and then you have the Democrats, right? I'm a Democrat.
They
have a very extreme view that they're pursuing.
It is fascinating to watch the Democrats trying everything they can to recycle their own failures. Andrew Cuomo, the guy who had to resign in disgrace after lies, after scandals, is now pretending to be the voice of reason. Now, come on, give me a break. This Democratic Party is a disaster. In one side, they want socialism. The other side, they want control. But the reality is, whether it's Mamdani, whether it's Andrew Cuomo, New Yorkers will lose. And sadly, the rest of the country is going to have to pay the price, including us conservatives.
How do you describe a democratic socialist?
Democratic socialist has a much more extreme platform. They're socialist in terms of economic policy.
Meaning
they believe government should control the means of production. There should be no private ownership of property.
Isn't that communism more when the government owns everything?
Well, that's why President Trump calls him a communist, but he calls himself a socialist. But just take that, no private ownership of property, right? So the dream of home ownership, you couldn't own your own home.
Well, are you calling him a communist? Because I think what his message that resoundingly resonated with young voters was the issue of affordability. I mean, that outranks crime, that outranks housing, it outranks jobs, because this is the most expensive city to live in the world. So when you're talking about democratic socialism, are you calling him a communist? Because it seems to me that his platform was about affordability.
No, I don't call him a communist. I said President Trump.
He just described Mamdani as a communist, right? And then now the host asked him, are you calling him a communist? Oh, no, I'm not calling him a communist. Trump called him a communist. Come on, be a man about it. If you're going to say something, stand on it. You just described the man as a communist. And then you... Wicked.
On affordability, he is right. The city is not affordable. A lot of the young people are complaining about the cost of rents. But his solution doesn't really work. You know, his solution is he's got a great slogan, freeze the rent.
Now let's talk about affordability for a minute. Is New York City expensive? Yes, it is. Should New York City be expensive? Absolutely. Come on, we're talking about New York City. A place everybody wants to visit, a place everybody wants to live in. Of course, it has to be expensive. The demand is extremely high. A lot of young kids talking about they cannot afford New York City. It's not just because New York City is expensive. Let's talk about another reality. You find a lot of young kids in college spending 4 years studying history and then wants to live in New York City. Doing what? Spend $200,000 gender studies. So you spend 4 years studying gender studies, and now you want to live in one of the most expensive places in the world? If you want to live in New York City, study finance, study economics, study math, study engineering. Stop with all these English major, like business administration major. Stop with all these nonsense degrees. Learn something that when you go look for a job, they say, okay, this person has some potential. Let's give him a chance.
Okay, I have another question for you. Trump, remember him?
No.
He seems very invested in the outcome here. As Whoopi said, it's New York City, so it's a big deal. The mayor is the second most important job in the country, basically. He seems to be in your corner. Coming out very hard against Mamdani, even threatening to withhold federal money from the city if he wins. Now, you said you don't want and wouldn't accept Trump's endorsement. Good for you. But you've accepted a lot of money from his backers. Am I right?
Well, I have backers who were also gave money to Trump and other Republicans and other Democrats.
Okay. Now, Mandani was here last week, and he had this to say about Trump's motives. Let's watch the clip.
He is looking to clear the field for Andrew Cuomo because he knows that Andrew Cuomo would clear the field for Trump's agenda. This is speaking about a former governor who, when he looked at the deployment of the National Guard in California, told New Yorkers, don't overreact. This is a moment where we have to address the administration for what it is, which is authoritarian. It's going to require us to do everything in our power to fight back, not to coordinate like Andrew Cuomo has done, being on the phone with Donald Trump.
Mamdani is so bad news for New York City. I'm afraid. We are watching in full display one of the world's most important cities going down, doing what I would call a self-destruction. President Trump is doing exactly what President Trump was elected to do, kicking those illegal migrants out. ICE is doing exactly what the law says. If you do not have proper documentation to be in this country, you shall leave. This is exactly what happened under Biden. This is exactly what happened under President Obama. This is exactly what's going on. Even though under Biden, let me take that back. Actually, it was the inverse because Biden left the border unprotected for 4 years, allowing over 10 millions of illegal migrants to pour in this country. Hello.
I am the last person President Trump wants as mayor of New York
Why?
City because he dealt with me as governor. New Yorkers watched the movie every day. During COVID, I was the governor, he was the president. We fought on a daily basis. He came with all his threats and all his power and might, threatened to put me in jail.
He should have. He should have put you in jail. This man, during COVID, Andrew Cuomo was called the hero of COVID. He was giving daily press conferences every day, lecturing the rest of the country how to handle COVID because he was so good at it. Little did we know, it was all a lie. This man was lying. This man is responsible for the death of so many elderly people. You know, it's one thing to fail the people, but it's another thing when you are intentionally failing the people so you can profit from it.
Governor, you resigned from the governor's office in 2021 amid a rash of sexual harassment allegations. And you left office apologizing to those women while always denying the most serious accusations. But you've taken a more combative stance lately. You say you regret having resigned, that you're a victim of cancel culture, that the allegations from 13 different women were all politically motivated, and threatened to sue one of your accusers for defamation. Now, you were not criminally charged, but investigators in the DOJ have found the claims credible. So what do you say to voters who have a hard time looking past this?
Yeah, it's a good question. When the report was issued, I said I believed it was politically motivated, and it was. I didn't even know the allegations at that time, right? It was done in a report. I didn't even know who the individuals were. We then spent 5 years. That report went to 5 district attorneys all over the state. No one found anything. It was then civilly litigated in court, the individual actions for 5 years. That came to nothing. I was dropped from the cases. So nothing came from those allegations. It was a very painful period for me and for my family. I have 3 young daughters, 30, 28, not that young anymore. But it was a very painful experience for my family. And I did say, if I offended anyone in any way, I didn't mean it. And I learned a lesson, a painful lesson, which is to be much more cautious about everything you say, any joke, any comment. I won't kiss a person on the cheek unless they initiate a kiss.
So at 60 years old, you did not know to not kiss women on the cheek in the workplace. I'll tell you why Andrew Cuomo is running for mayor. Eric Adams' failure in New York City was so obvious. It was so evident. New Yorkers made it clear that Eric was not gonna get a second term, which literally opened the field for anybody willing to challenge Eric Adams. And that's when Andrew Cuomo saw the opening. He's like, okay, I'm gonna go. But Andrew Cuomo is so bad. He's so incompetent. He's letting Mom Danny, someone nobody knew 6 months ago, bidding him. That's how bad he is.
Now, I have to ask you about the nursing home scandal. Many of us who were not New Yorkers kind of came to know of you during your daily press briefings during the coronavirus pandemic. But you came under significant scrutiny for your directive that kept patients in nursing homes during COVID that led to excess deaths. And at first, your administration was not forthright about the number of deaths, though you took responsibility later. You also came under scrutiny for writing a book during this period while the pandemic was still raging on. You have issued an apology to some New Yorkers for that, but is there anything else you felt you did wrong in that period that you want to take responsibility for?
You know, during COVID, we had COVID first and worst in New York. So we were sort of the test case, if you will. The whole country was watching New York.
Yeah.
And it's the first time you saw the ravages of COVID. It's the first time you saw the nursing home deaths, really.
Word salad. Word salad. What this man did was evil. He saw what was happening in the nursing home. He knew the numbers and he allowed people with COVID go into the nursing home. Many people lost their lives and he kept hiding the numbers because he wanted to sell his books. He made over $5 million in his useless book. And now all he has to do is simply just say, I'm sorry. No, there should be, we need to start holding people accountable, man. Like, this is not okay.
My heart goes out to anyone who lost a loved
Oh, give me a break with my heart goes out. Give me a break. This man is so immoral. Not only he kept hiding the numbers, which led to the deaths of so many people, he kept hiding the numbers so he could sell his book. And that same book, he used his staff, the staff that the American people was paying the salary because they are government employees. He used the staff to help him with the book. And then he made $5 million and then kept the $5 million for himself. And now all he has to say is, oh, I'm sorry for the people that... It's like, dude, when are we going to start seeing real accountability? When are we gonna start seeing people being held accountable? As always, guys, thanks for watching. If you have not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as I continue to bring more, but most importantly, better content, and call out all the nonsense from the left, call out all the nonsense from the woke radical ideologies from the left. As always, may God bless you and may God bless the United States of America. It is important for us conservatives to gather, to work together and push conservative values. That's why on this channel, we're going to promote conservative values. We're going to uphold conservative values and remind people what makes this country an amazing nation. God, family, country. God, family, country. May God bless you and may God bless the United States of America.